Hello and welcome to my 100% Rift guide. Today we're doing the second video of my guide series. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, check out the video fully explaining the guide. This video was a lot of work, so leave a sub to support the channel. It helps to do more videos in the future. Just a quick disclaimer before we start. To do the video, I played through all of Rift on another profile, and even though I made myself a list of everything I have to do, sometimes I was not able to do it in the order you should do it. The order in this video is correct, but just so you don't wonder why my inventory looks different sometimes. Okay, now let's start by talking to the wizard in the hub in his tower. After a short dialogue, you can infuse yourself and enter the rift. Sometimes you get free charges to do so, but usually you have to buy the infusion, either with Grand XP bottles or bits. Usually it's way cheaper to do it with the bottles, so have a few million coins spare before you start with the rift. If you want to know how to get coins fast early on, check out my latest video. When you're in the rift, you want to talk to the rift version of the wizard. He will teleport you, and you have an item in your hand. Right click with the item on the yellow particles on the ground, as this will guide you back to the tower. In general, you want to have your particles enabled, so make sure they are activated in your Minecraft settings, as well as running the command /pq high. The path will lead you back to the tower. Make sure to talk to Enigma when you get back there. You will need 100 motes to buy the cloak. You get them by collecting the flying pink particles. But what even are motes and how does the rift work? Motes are the currency within the rift. As you have coins outside, you have motes inside. Another important resource is rift time. You get more time from some of the items, but most importantly from collecting Enigma souls. The first of these souls is located on the lake next to Enigma. For such an easy one, you just have to click it. Sometimes you have to do a task to be able to do so, but we will get to that. After you're done with Enigma, head back to the tower and talk to the wizard again. Doing so unlocks your rift guide. The guide lists every task you eventually have to do within the rift, so if you're unsure if you're done with everything, just check it. Or follow along with this guide. At first we want to collect a bunch of Enigma souls and get them onto Montezuma. There's a soul that requires 2 people standing on pressure plates, so just ask in the lobby if someone could help you. Sooner or later you will get it. Next, use a launch pad next to the pond to boost yourself on top of the tree. You will find Jackal sitting on one of the branches, talk to her and get the cat detector from the chest. Throughout your journey through the rift, you will find Montezuma pieces. Don't worry, I will show you where they are. Jump down to collect the first Montezuma piece under the tree. Head back to Jackal and talk to her to get the Montezuma pet. Now jump down in the pond to get into the cave and collect the soul. You need enough speed to pass through, so if you fail, get back on top of the tree and jump down again. Next to the pond, there's another launch pad with 2 NPCs staring in the air. Use the launch pad, look up and collect the next soul. Next to the launch pad, there's a structure with soul sand. Over here you want to talk to Portal, but also click all of the 5 wither skulls. In the end, a block in the tree will turn into an Enigma soul. On the other side of the map, you find a flower pot with some green particles. If you click the pot, another one will appear and they will create a path you have to follow. In the end, you are rewarded with another Enigma soul. When you're in the tower for the next time, you can go down the ladder to kill the intruder eye, as this will allow you to fast travel between locations when you unlock more eyes. Also, you have to talk to Elise now. She will explain that the next bigger goal is to unlock the Supreme Time Charm. We will get to that in a bit. For now, we want to finish the tasks in the Wyld Woods, so get into the forest. As close to the tower, there's a flea spook waiting. Follow it through the woods, as after finishing the parkour, you will be rewarded with another Enigma soul. Now you want to talk to all 3 brothers. They are located within 3 trees. If you use NU, you can just press N on your keyboard and search for 3 brother. After talking to all 3, you can buy a wild sword for 3 Shycruxes and 333 motes. But what are Shycruxes and how do you get them? Throughout the woods, there are some mobs wandering around, the Shys. You kill them, hit them a few times and look away from them when they are in their special phase. If you look towards them during this phase, you will lose some time from your rift timer. After the phase, you can finish them off. The next step is a bit more tedious, as you want to kill 100 Shys. With the first 8 Cruxes you get, craft the Crux Talisman. It gets you more rift time, as well as more Crux Fortune, if you grind enough of a certain type of Cruxes. You should do this now, as you will need some motes in the future, as well as a bunch of Shycruxes. Once you're done farming Cruxes, talk to Inverted Sirius and start his questline. He needs a stability elixir, for which you have to go into the bar and talk to Shifted. When you try to buy the elixir, Shifted tells you it's out of stock, but there's someone on the bar who knows the supplier of new ones. Talk to Alabaster, he will guide you to the next NPC and so on. You have to pay 20 motes every time. The line ends with Fafnir, who tells you about the Argofay serial bafer. To get to him, use the jump pad from earlier to get to the highest house. You can buy a stability elixir for the price of a Shycrux. Once you've got the elixir, head back to Sirius and splash him with a potion. As a result, you can now transfer some items by using the ender chest behind him. The corresponding ender chest in the overworld is behind the dark auction house in the hub. Next we want to buy the first armor, for which we have to talk to the 4 AlexxOffi traffickers. You can use NU again by pressing N and searching for trafficker. Number 4 sells you the helmet for 1000 motes. Number 3 sells you the chestplate for 2000 motes. Number 2 sells you the boots for 50 motes. And number 1 sells you the legs for another 1000 motes. So the whole armor sets you back 4050 motes. When you now re-enter the rift and jump to the left from the tower, there is a spot with barking wolves. You need to kill a total of 20, so you get 20 muted barks, which you can right-click the tree with to get another Enigma soul. Every time the wolves hit you, you lose time, so make sure you've got enough before trying the soul. It's easier with another person, but still doable solo. While you're also on the backside of the tower, talk to the wizardman. Now there's one more thing to do in the Wyld Woods, which has to do with the AlexxOffi bug hunter. After you talk to him for the first time, you need to talk to the bug shopper, which is in the same house on the other side. The first thing you have to buy is a lava hook. Now talk to the bug hunter again. He tells you to use the hook to grind out lava silks. It's important to talk to the hunter every time you get a new item from the shopper. To grind silks, run around on the trees and look out for the lavas. If you use sky honey, they should be highlighted in blue, so it's easy to see them. Either right or left click them with a hook. In the first iteration, get about 32 silks, which means 4 hooks. When you talk to the bug hunter after getting some silk, you get a silk wire stick. With this you're now able to move along a silk and grind Adonatas. You will need a total of 14, so you can already buy 14 bottles of the bug shopper. Make sure to talk to the bug hunter after buying the empty bottles. Now to grind the Adonatas, you first have to spot them. Same as for the lavas, if you use sky honey and hold the empty bottle, they are colored in blue, so you can see them. To grind them, you have to create a line between 2 blocks using the lava silk. Go on one side, place a silk, go to the other side and place a silk, and the path between both blocks should form. Now you can use the silk wire stick to move along the wire by clicking with a mouse. When you're next to an Adonata, hold the empty bottle and follow the movement. You don't need to click anything while doing so. Repeat this process until you have 14 filled bottles. Also, while you're grinding out the bottles, make sure to get the Enigma soul between the 2 branches. It's done the same way as grinding out the Adonatas. Create a wire to get the soul, then break the glass with the left click, so you can get the soul. After having 14 bottles, go back to the bug hunter. You will need to right click him with one of the bottles. Furthermore, you have to spend 8 bottles on the Silk Rider safety belt and another one at the bug shopper for the surgery toolkit. The last 4 bottles are needed for the time charm, which we will get to a little bit later. The last thing in the Wyld Woods for now is to grind another 32 lava silks. You will need them later on. As you also did the serious quest, you now have access to the ender chest to get some items into the rift. In total, you want to have a Scarf Studies, 2 transmission tuners, and 1 stack and 12 silver fangs. Later on you also need a weird tuber and the leggings of the pack. Be aware that you need Wolfslayer level 5 to use the tuber. After you bought them, bring them over to the ender chest, so you can take them out when in the rift. Depending on your budget, there are a few more items you want to get, but you can also grind money later on. These are a Bluetooth ring, an extra Scarf's Grimoire, a Vampire Dentist relic, a Blood Donor artifact, and a Hocus Pocus cipher. All of these are accessories you can use inside the rift, and they give you some benefits, but it's completely playable without. As we are now done with the Wyld Woods, the next area we need to work our way through is the Black Lagoon. When you want to cross the bridge to the lagoon, there is Tel Kar waiting for you. When you talk to him, he will tell you a lot about the rift's lore. If you're interested, you can read through it. But the important thing is you click on the messages in chat. After he's done talking, you get an Enigma soul. The next soul is located at the tree to your right. To unlock it, you have to turn the runes into the right direction, so the golden part is faced towards the tree. This is done best if you start on the left side and go one by one. When all runes are correct, a block in the tree will reveal the soul. Now behind the tree, there's a cave in which you have to do a parkour. When you get to the end, there's another Enigma soul waiting for you. Now you have to grind out a few items. For now, you have to grind 8 Deadshock spines and about 3.5 to 4 stacks of lily pads. To grind the Deadshock spines, you have to kill Deadshocks. After you hit them a few times, you won't be able to damage them anymore and a sound is playing. Hide behind one of the growing mushrooms, as they will shoot a bunch of arrows, and every hit is reducing your time. To grind the lily pads, you have to jump in the water towards the hut. If you do so, a leech lagoon will spawn. If it does, get out of the water, wait for the leech, and kill it. Repeat the process until you have enough lily pads. Now you want to use them to make your way over the lake by placing them on the water. If you fall in, you have to get back to the shore and try again. When you reach the hut, make sure to go into the basement to kill the teleport eye. Next, you need 16 lava silks and talk to Reed. Over the course of your rift walkthrough, you will have to get back to Reed a few more times. Lastly, for now in the hut, climb up the ladder and talk to Roy. For 8 Deadshock spines and 4k motes, you can buy another Enigma soul of him. Also talk to Kay in front of the hut. For now, get back to the shore and talk to Dr. Hibble. Also, farm some more Deadchock spines. For now, you will need another 46 spines. Once you're done with the spines, head back to the hut. You can either do this by jumping over the lake using the lily pads again, or by going to the tower and using the eye. Talk to Kay once more, as you will now get a research paper. With the paper, go back to Dr. Hibble, who's now called Dr. Edwin. Give him the paper and go down the lair. In the lair, you find the first mini-boss fight of the Rift, the Supreme Leech. But before you fight it, turn around, swim up the waterfall, and get the next Montezuma soul. Now for the Leech fight, let's quickly go through all of the phases. First, it spawns with 800 HP. You simply hit it until the first mini-boss phase starts. It's called Slime Pound, and the Leech will spawn a flying slime block, which will rush to the floor and release a shockwave when landing. You can dodge it by jumping accordingly. After this happens for a few times, the Leech will teleport back to the mid, where you can hit it again. When the HP is low enough, the Leech will cast another spell, which is called Wicked Bombs. During this attack, it casts green projectiles, which will fly towards the arena. The floor, where it lands, will be colored in green as well. If you stand on one of the green blocks when the projectile lands, you will lose a lot of time. Run around the arena and dodge the green blocks to pass this phase. After a while, the Leech teleports to the mid again, so you have to hit it until the next spell phase starts. The next spell is called Leech Swarm, in which a bunch of mobs are being spawned in. Just simply kill them until the Leech Supreme gets back to the middle. Hit it again until it casts the last spell, which is the Mortiferous Laser. You should dodge it by jumping over it and hiding inside the stairs in the ground. But you can just avoid getting hit by using this block on the other side of the entrance. Stand here until the laser phase is over. Lastly, you just have to hit the Leech again until it's dead. For killing the Leech, you get rewarded with 8 Leech fragments. Currently, you will need 24 Leech fragments, which means you have to do the fight 2 more times. With the first 4 fragments, you can craft yourself a Leech sword, so you deal more damage in the next fights. Use the next 8 fragments to upgrade your belt. After the third fight, you can spend the last fragments. 8 of those are needed to craft an aspect of the Leech. The last 4 fragments are needed to craft the Supreme Time Charm. As you now also have an AOTL, you can upgrade it with the transmission tuners you brought into the Rift earlier. Now go back to Elise in the tower and talk to her. She will bring you into the Rift Gallery. Place down the Time Charm at its desired location and you will get a lot of Skyblock XP. Also, Elise gives you the Rift Necklace, which you can equip right away. She also tells you how to get the necklace in the overworld. Also, while in the Rift Gallery, you can go to this wooden house and press the button. It will open up and you can get another Montezuma soul from here. Now in the overworld, if you go into the basement of the tower, you will find Elise. Talk to her and select Caramel as a code word. As a reward, you get the Rift Necklace from her. Now there are 2 more things for you to do to complete the Black Lagoon. On the one hand, you have to upgrade your helmet with the Deadchock spines you granted earlier. On the other hand, next to the Colosseum, there's an Enigma soul on top of a tree. You can't teleport up there, but you can use the Lava Silk and the Silkware Stick to move up there. The next area we get into is the West Village. The whole unlocked area also includes the Dreadfarm, but we will look at it a little bit later in this video. Something you can do already is to run all the way to the corner of the Dreadfarm, so you can kill the eye and unlock the teleport. Now let's get some more Enigma souls. Head back to the cake house. Spam your right click a lot, so you can eat your way through the house. There are 2 souls within the house. The first one is on the lower floor, the second one is upstairs. On the other side of the road, next to the lake, there's Cosmo the dolphin standing. Talk to him and do the water parkour. At the end of the parkour, another soul is waiting for you. Now grind out some shadows, as you will need a bunch of shadow craxes. Use the first 16 craxes to upgrade your tally and grind out another 68 for later. While grinding, make sure to avoid the temporal pillar, which is the large enderman, as it will instantly remove all of your remaining rift time. When you are done grinding the craxes, it's time to get some more Enigma souls. The first one we now look at is the hot dog soul. Talk to the chef to start the minigame required for the soul. He will cook a lot of hot dogs and throw them out, and you have to collect them and put them on the plate. It's easier to do this with multiple players, but it's also possible to do it solo. What's not possible to do solo is the next soul, which is upstairs in the hot dog house. It's another 2-player soul. Once more you can ask in the lobby for someone to help you, or you bring a friend. 1 player is on the beacon side, 1 player is on the hopper side. Both players right-click the item frames, but the hopper side has to stay in the interface. The beacon side has to tell the hopper side which slots have a beacon. Left to right is letters, top to bottom is numbers. So for example, if there's a beacon in the top left corner, it would be slot A1. For me it felt easiest if you go letter by letter, so remember the first column and write it in chat. While your counterpart is clicking the slots in their interface, you can open your interface again and check for the next column. If every correct slot has been clicked, both of you can claim the Enigma soul. Now head over to the Unhinged Clune at the side of the mountain. After talking to him, you get the retro encapsulating visor. Wear it, and you should have some particles on the ground, but as for everything rift related, better use Sky Honey. If you do so, you will get some waypoints where you have to go. Small devices will show up at the waypoints. If you right click them, an interface will open up. In here, you have a top row with set numbers, and 5 more rows with rotating numbers. The arrows to the left and right show you in which direction the rows of numbers move. Every row also contains the number shown in the top row, so row 1 contains number 1, row 2 contains number 2, etc. If the number in the row is in the same column as the set number, you have to click it. This sounds more complicated than it actually is. With Sky Honey it means just click the slot with a red background when it turns green. When you complete the device, you have to select a color for it. Usually this is determined by the color of particles leading to the device. If you use Sky Honey, it shows you the color you need to select. Repeat this process for all of the other devices. Number 2 is in the Fisher house, and the color to select is green. Number 3 is in the Witch's house, and the color is orange. Device number 4 can be found in Cat's house, and the color is yellow. Number 5 can be found next to the water tower, its color is aqua. Device number 6 is in the house next to the lake, the color is blue. Number 7 is in the Mirrorverse house, and the color is purple. And lastly, device number 8 can be found in the hot dog house, and you need to set its color to pink. When you are done with all 8 devices, head back to Clune and talk to him again. You will receive the defective monitor as a reward. Keep it in your inventory for extra rift time. The next task to do is Gunther's Race. If you've been to the park before, you might know the overworld version of it. You have to finish the rift race twice. The first time you need to beat it within 60 seconds, the second time in 35 seconds. You can use the item you get as a reward to upgrade your boots. Now use the waterfall to climb on top of the fisherman's house, as there is another Montezuma fragment on top of it. There is also another soul in between 2 roofs. Use the lava silks once more to be able to grab it. Now talk to Sorcerer Okron on top of his house. He's giving you the Warding Diamathane, which you have to use for the next task. He always tells you where you have to go. There's a small chest at the destination which you have to open. For example, the first one is next to the small lake. Take out the paper and go back to Okron. He then tells you to imbue the glyph on one side of the house. To do so, hold the item he gave you and follow the line of particles. If you let go of it, you have to redo the whole glyph, but you can go back on top of the particles in case you missed one. When you're done with it, go back to Okron and talk to him. The whole procedure repeats a few times now. Paper number 2 is in the windmill, number 3 is at the water tower, number 4 is in the barn, number 5 is in the hot dog house, number 6 is on top of Cat's house, number 7 is in the cake house, and number 8 is back at Clune. When you're done with all of the glyphs, you will receive the Warding Trinket, which you also want to keep in your inventory. Now there's one more thing to do in the West Village, which is Cat's house. If you've ever been in the garden before, you know how this works. If not, let me quickly explain. When you talk to Cat, you will receive a vacuum. You can then use that vacuum to catch silverfishes, spiders, or flies. After you caught 8 mobs, you need to go back to the cauldron at Cat to empty it out. There are a total of 5 rewards. In this guide I will get 3 of them, but usually you want to get at least the first 4. To get the disinfector gloves, you need to bring 4 of each pest to Cat, and it costs 12 shadow cruxes. The second reward is the vermin build, an upgrade of your leech build. You can buy it after you bring 15 flies to Cat. The next item would be the rift ferret. Sooner or later you will need it on an actual profile. To get it, you need driftwood roots, but you need an item from the Dreadfarm to get them. We will get to that in just a bit. The last item I cover in this guide is the key to infested house soul. You need to buy this to be able to claim the Enigma soul in the house. After handing in a total of 40 silverfish, you can buy it for 500 motes. If you're an Iron Man, you can also go for the last item, which is a pet upgrade item for spider and tarantula pets to upgrade them to mythic. But on a normal profile, it's definitely not needed, as you can just buy the mythic pets. Now it's time to head into the Mirrorverse. This is a subsection of the West Village. To enter it, you need 3 minutes of rift time, and while you're in it, you don't lose any. As the name implies, it has to do a lot with mirrors and the change of perspectives. When you enter it, talk to Dr. Ahmed in the corner of the room. You can see him in the reflection in the mirror, but not in the room itself. This is how a lot of Mirrorverse gameplay will work. When you're done talking to him, flick all of the levers on the wool blocks. You also see them in the reflection. By the way, Sky Honey will be a great mod for the Mirrorverse, as it offers a variety of useful options for it. In the first room of the Mirrorverse, you have to follow a path of blocks. If you fall off the path, you end in lava. Follow the Sky Honey path to the end of the room. Flick the lever to open the door and get into the next room. In the second room, the goal is to craft the so-called tiny hammer to open the door. You can see the crafting recipe in the reflection of the room, but keep in mind it's also mirrored. you get the resources to craft it, you need to slay the mirror mobs. Skyhoney comes in clutch again, as they simulate the mobs as ghost version in the main room, so it's easier to kill them. On top of the hammer, you also want to bring 3 of the sticks with you for later. With the hammer, you can open the door. In the next room, you have to finish the parkour. Also make sure to turn on hard mode by clicking on the button, as you will only receive the talisman for the room if you do so. Usually, you are supposed to see the correct platforms in the mirror in the ceiling, but Skyhoney also shows you the correct path. After trying for a bit, you should be able to finish it and claim the tali from the chest. On to the next room, this can get a little bit more tricky. On both sides you will have glass blocks, and you see your reflection in it, but it will only move on the green side, so you have to maneuver it around to complete the room. For example, in the first room, you just have to click the red side to activate it, move your reflection on the pressure plate, save it on the plate by activating the other side, and go through the door. In the next part, this gets extended by a bit, as you have to switch from side to side and move on all of the pressure plates. This one should be straightforward. The next part can get a little bit more tricky. Step on the pressure plate and activate the side behind you. Press the button behind the door, and after a few moments you will get a jump boost. Use the boost to get into the box at the ceiling. Make sure to move all the way to the window, as that block also has a pressure plate. Activate the other side and press the button to your left. Reactivate the first side, run out of that part of the box, and jump up the other side. If you did everything correctly, the door should be opened, and if you go inside, the main door should open. The last part is the most tricky one, and it also took me a few tries to remember how it worked. Start off by stepping onto the pressure plate and lock in the reflection. By doing so, the iron door in the reflection opens. Click the button to receive a jump boost after a few seconds. Use the jump boost to get into the box in the air. Activate the side next to you and click the lever. This opens up the iron door on the other side of the box. There's also a button to your left. Clicking it grants you another jump boost. Use it to get into the side with the opened iron door. When in the room, go towards the side that's further away from the red side and activate it. When you stand in this corner, there's a pressure plate below you, so it should instantly activate. Now turn around and activate that side and click on the button in the corner of the window. This grants you another jump boost to get back to the spot where you've been in the beginning. Step onto the left block of both, so you activate the pressure plate. Also click the hidden button again to start another jump boost. Now activate the other side. If you did everything correctly, you can now jump down and inside the open trapdoors. In that room, there's a final pressure plate, which opens the last door to leave the room. Make sure to open the chest and take out the tali. The following room is probably the most hated one. It's the tiny dancer room. For this room, it's important to have your sound loud enough so you can hear the note blocks. To start it, step on the green block. There is text popping up on your screen about what you have to do. You need to time it right, but what do I mean by that? Your reflection has to do the task when the corresponding sound is being played. For low ping players, that's not really an issue, but for higher ping players it gets a bit tricky. When you try to time it, you need to factor in your ping, so your reflection is always doing it on time. The tasks kind of repeat themselves, so after a bit you should get used to it. Make sure to not instantly jump down when the hole in the floor opens, as you won't get the tali when doing so. Continue until you are fully done. The punching part is most tricky, as you have to be relatively precise with doing it in time. When you are fully done with the dancer, make sure to jump down fast, as otherwise the hole closes again and you have to do the first part once more. Now there's only one room left in the Mirrorverse, which is another type of parkour. You need to talk to Dr. Emmett. He will give you a laser pointer. Usually you see the blocks you need to jump at in the reflection, and the laser pointer also helps you out with it. But once more, Skyhoney is coming in clutch, as it highlights the blocks for you anyways. At the end of the parkour, there's another chest waiting for you to take out another accessory. If you now follow the path, you get to Dr. Emmett again. At first you receive 60k motes for finishing the Mirrorverse. After a short dialogue, you can open his shop. Buy the Mirrorverse time charm for 10k motes and 10 Shadow Cruxes, as well as the chestplate upgrade with the Wyld chestplate and 12 Cruxes. With this you're done in the Mirrorverse and can leave it by clicking on the button. Head back to the gallery and place the time charm in the spot for West Village. Now you can get rid of all of the accessories you got from inside the Mirrorverse by going to Sirius and putting them in the ender chest. You won't need them anymore inside the rift. Now it's time to get into the tasks of the Dreadfarm. At first you want to farm some Wyld Cruxes. As all of the Crux mobs have a unique way of killing them, so do Wylds. You need to hit them until they start their special phase. In this, a circle spawns around them, and you either need to stand on the emerald block inside the circle, or move out of the circle entirely. During the special move phase, you can't hit it, and it shoots lightnings, which reduce your time by quite a lot. When the phase is over, you can just kill it. For Wylds, it's especially nice to farm multiple at once, so you get one Wyld into the special phase and turn to another, while the first one's phase is passing by. At first you need 16 Cruxes to upgrade the Crux tali again. You also want to get another 34 Vault Cruxes for later. Now you can talk to Shania, the cow, inside the barn and get the wand of farming. You need this to be able to break any crops in the rift. It's now time to make use of the wand by starting with Wyld Woods. These are the dead bushes being found in the farming areas. I would recommend farming them in a small area, as it's faster and easier. To do so, you need to start at the beginning of a line of berberis. If you use sky honey, it's highlighted, otherwise you will see particles around the correct crop. Your first goal is to craft 2 blowguns using 60 berberis each. Store 1 blowgun for later. With these you can farm the chickens, but we will do that in just a bit. For now it's time to keep farming. You will need another 120 normal berberis for later. You will also need another 34 berberis bunches, which takes some time, but it's worth it, so you don't need to come back. Now it's time to farm agaricus caps. These are the small mushrooms standing around the farming areas. It's kinda annoying to farm them, as you have to look at the mushroom for like 3 to 5 seconds until the brown mushroom turns red. Only if it does, you can break it. You will need a total of 50 agaricus caps and 3 agaricus cap bunches. Use the 50 agaricus cap to upgrade your helmet to the cap when you're collection level 3. When you are done farming the agaricus, you will need to farm 1 more crop for now, which is caducus. These are the 3 block tall rose bushes around the farming patches. You need to farm them from top to bottom, so you need to break the highest block first, then the middle one, and finally the bottom one. You need to hit every stage multiple times, so the easiest way of farming them is to stand inside, look down, and jump while holding down the left mouse button. You need to do this until you have 18 normal caducus and 3 caducus bunches, but you will need collection level 3 later on. Now we can make use of the blowgun. First, there are a bunch of balloons in the air holding an anvil. Shoot the blowgun to pop all of the balloons, and it will fall down to reveal an enigma soul. Now it's time to farm eggs. You will need 40 eggs in total. To grind them, shoot or punch a chicken, and while it's mid-air, shoot it again with a blowgun. After you're done with all of this, you can talk to Shania again. She will take 2 of each of the bunches you just grinded, and you will get a proto-chicken in return. Use it and the resources to craft the chicken and egg time charm. You can also upgrade your legs at this point by using 32 eggs and some Vault Cruxes. As we now gathered the time charm of the area, it's time to complete it and to grind out the souls. First, there's another flower pot soul in the Dreadfarm. Follow it along and you will end up on top of the windmill to claim another enigma soul. Now, as you might have noticed, I've got some name tags with numbers floating around. These are Skytill's waypoints for the next soul. You need to run around the area and press a total of 56 buttons. You can either right click them or shoot them with a blowgun. Shooting is easier. I will provide you the waypoints in the video description. After you are done with all of the buttons, Skyhoney will provide you a path to the soul that got revealed. Whenever you enter the rift again, make sure to also place the recently acquired time charm, as it not only gets the Skyblock XP, but also allows you to enter the next area, which we get to in a bit. Now get to Plumber Joe's house and buy 13 water buckets of him. You will need them soon, but for now put all of them away besides one, which you need right away. Close to the balloon soul, you can find the beanstalk sprout. You can water it using the bucket you just bought. If you water it enough, you need to move to the safe zone, which is indicated with green particles. When you're on the spot, the beanstalk starts growing. Get to the top of it, water it again, move to the safe spot again and let it grow. Repeat it for multiple times until you eventually get to the top of it, where you can claim another enigma soul. We can now also get back to Reed to give him 64 berberis for the boat. We can't do the last Dreadfarm task just yet, as we need an item from the next area to do it, but we will get to that in just a bit. It's finally time to get into area number 5, the Village Plaza. The first thing you want to do is to run all the way to the other side to kill the eye, so you can teleport back here. Now get back to the community center, rather sat on top of it, as you can grab the mid-air enigma soul from the roof of the center. In the florist's house, you can click on the bookshelf in the middle. A book opens, and if you click the text, you get teleported to another Montezuma soul. Now it's time to farm some scribe cruxes. To kill the scribes, you have to hit them until the special phase starts. In this, they fly up in the air and start to shoot the laser. The laser is turning blocks on the floor into coal blocks. Either by looking at the coal blocks or by walking over them, you need to turn all of them into gold blocks. Try to avoid the laser, as it reduces your rift time by quite a bit. Once all of the blocks are golden, you will get a sound as confirmation and the scribe is getting down and you can hit it again. For now, you will need a total of 42 scribe cruxes. 16 of them are used to upgrade the crux tally, 16 are needed for the time charm, and you will need another 10 for an enigma soul we get to in a bit. When you are done grinding the cruxes, jump into the portal in the middle of the plaza. You get teleported to a Skyblock island, in which you need to make your way to the other side. If you still have it, you can use the tiny hammer from the Mirrorverse to break the road faster. Once you're on the other side, you can claim the enigma soul and talk to Jerry. When you go through the portal, you can run towards the other side of the plaza to get to the balloon soul. It's the same as before, shoot all of the balloons with a blowgun and claim the soul once the anvil falls down. Now it's time to do the Flea Spook Soul. It works like the one in the Wyld Woods. The starting point is next to the portal, and you have to follow it over the roofs of the city. Once it's on the roof of the community center, you can use a launch pad to get moved to the roof of the bank. After you activate it on top of the bank, the final spot it moves to is the roof of the auction house. While you're in this area, you can also jump down the auction house to the side of the cave as you find another Montezuma piece over here. Look out for the alley as it's red light, green light. You can move as you want when it's green, but you have to stand still when it's red. Yellow warns you shortly before it's turning red. Now it's time to work on one of the most hated tasks in all of Rift, which is Cowboy Nick and his rabbits. When you talk to him, you receive the Horsuka. Before we make use of it in the Carrot Cave, first we have to go back to the Dreadfarm. Remember when I told you we need another item to finish it off? This item was the Horsuka. You can use the teleport eye to get to it, as behind the eye there's a wall you can break using the Horsuka. In there you find another Montezuma piece, and by getting this, the Dreadfarm should also be fully complete. If we now go back to Cowboy Nick, we first have to break a bunch of hay bales using the Horsuka. Use it to make your way all the way to the back of the cave, as you find another soul there. On your way back, shoot some more horses, so when you reach Nick again, you should be done breaking all of the hay needed. From now on, if you talk to him, he will spawn a rabbit for you. You may have wondered why I called it the Carrot Cave and why it's so hated. Well, the only way to break the carrots is by making use of the rabbit. Later on, you can get an item which makes handling the rabbit easier, but for now you have to stand behind it and push it away from you. You need to shoot the Horsuka at the same time, so the rabbit has space to operate. If the hay respawns with you and the rabbit inside, you get teleported back to Nick and you have to spawn a new rabbit. My best practice for handling the rabbit is to do it slow enough. Don't try to rush it, and it's very doable. But how many carrots do you actually need? You have to get a total of 9 stacks and 50 half-eaten carrots, as well as 7 nearly whole carrots, which totals to 1186 carrots, or a little bit more than 18.5 stacks. Use the first 7 stacks of carrots to upgrade your chestplate. Also, while handling the rabbit, try to push it outside the cave into the carpenter's house. If you manage to maneuver it under the flying cap, you can claim the Enigma Soul. Use the next 2 stacks of carrots at Reed to further repair the boat. Finally, if you talk to Nick with carrots in your hand, he will take 50 half-eaten carrots from you and ask for 7 nearly whole carrots. Once you grinded all of these, you're done grinding carrots for Rift progress. You will need some more to finish the collection. Also, carrots are a money-making method we look at in the next video. Now it's time to work on the main task in the Plaza, which is to help out Barry in the community center. Use the warpad to get and talk to him. Your task now is to help him out with the villagers being unhappy with him as minister. It's easiest to explain if I show it to you. The first villager I talk to is Creed. He complains about not getting motes from Barry. With this information, you need to get back to Barry. He says the government can't afford this, so you need to get back to Creed and pay the 300 motes yourself. Doing this makes Creed happy, and he's now on the side of Barry. Now you need to help out all of the other villagers. Soma has problems with taxes, as all of us do. So Barry explains to you how the tax system works. With this information, you need to get back to Soma and explain to her how much she needs to pay. She's in the highest tax bracket, but the system is progressive. There are 5 brackets, they go from 0 to 20, then to 40, then to 70, and finally to 100k plus. The taxes are 10, 20, 30, 40, and 50%, and she has to pay 32k taxes. After all of this, she's also happy, and you can move over to Dust. This one is pretty simple. You need to tell him something smart, and the smartest option is patience comes to those who wait. Now talk to Stain, head to Barry, head back to Stain, and tell him Barry is spelled with an A and not an E. Violetta wants Barry to do her maths homework, but of course you need to do that. The solution is in 10 years. The second to last villager you have to help is Harriet. She says Barry wants to make jumping illegal. Turns out the newspaper she got it from is bought and not trustworthy, so obviously she will listen to that and instantly change her mind. Lastly, there's Frankie left. He's complaining about lags, so once you tell him he might be on a bad proxy, he relogs and is fine again. As you now helped all of the villagers, you can get back to Barry. As a reward for helping him, you get his pen, which you need for the time charm. Get to the back of the hallway, and at the jukebox you can buy the citizen time charm for Barry's pen and 16 scrap cruxes. If you now head back to the Rift Gallery, you can place down the citizen time charm in its spot. For the next task, you need to get back into the community center and talk to Seraphine. She needs her face fixed, and you can do that by getting a potion from the alchemist. Head over to the alchemist and talk to them. Getting the potion is a multi-step task, but we prepared most of it. At first you need to pay 10k motes. Then you need to fill the cauldron with water. You can use the same water bucket you used for the beanstalk. The next step requires you to get driftwood roots. These are the netherwarts placed around the alchemist's house. To farm them, you need the wand of farming. For this quest alone, you will need 64 roots. If you want to finish everything, you need 76, as you need 12 for the rift ferret at Cat. Farming them is a bit annoying, as every time you hit it, your head turns around a bit. For this video, I will only grind the 64 for this quest. Once you get them, get back to the cauldron and right click it with the roots. Next, you will need 8 lava silks, which you should still have from grinding them in the Wyld Woods. Right click the cauldron with them to add them to the potion. Lastly, you will need 4 Catechus extract. You should already have the resources required, as you already farmed Catechus and bought 12 plumber buckets. Finally, you can add the extracts to the cauldron and receive the potion in return. With the potion, get back to Seraphine and right click her with it. Her face should turn to normal, and you can buy the detransfigured face for 1500 motes and your old helmet. And the next quest line is in the house behind the alchemist's house. You need to talk to Detective Amok to start it. Your goal is to investigate a reverse murder. To do so, you receive your detective scanner. With this, you have to look around the house and right click everything with green particles. Once you're done doing so, talk to Amok again, and the questline sends you to the florist's house. After clicking through the dialogue, you need to go to the Master Tactician thing. You find him behind the Colosseum. After talking to him, you can upgrade your sword for the cost of 500 motes to the Tactician's murder weapon. Once you receive the sword, you need to make your way over to the red light, green light alley. At the end of the alley, there's the blacksmith and Amok waiting for you. After talking to the blacksmith, you need to go back to Ramirez's house and talk to Amok once more. This time around, you can also inspect the painting, which leads you to Taylor's house. In the basement, you find Joliet. After talking to her, you need to go back to the house once more. And this time around, there are barricades in front of her house, so you can't get in. Amok requires you to call Wizardman, which you can do by typing "Help Wizardman" in the chat. He arrives, and after having more of a dialogue, he opens up the barricades so you can get in the house. Here, after another short dialogue, you need to slay Ramiro. Once you do, you will receive the Ring of Broken Love from Amok. Now there are only a few tasks left in the plaza, one of which is sitting with the NPC with a name I don't even try to pronounce. If you sit down at a table, the NPC will move to you after a bit, but they want to be alone, so you need to stand up and sit at another table until the procedure repeats. You need to sit with them for at least 3 minutes before you can claim the Enigma Soul. Now get to the front of Taylor's shop and talk to Simo. Here you can buy an upgrade for your boots for 50k motes. At this point, there are 2 more tasks left in the plaza. For the next one, we get into NFTs, rather said BZTs. Talk to the skeleton next to the auction house and buy a BZT for 15k motes and 10 scrap trucks. The skeleton will disappear, but it leaves you an Enigma Soul in return. Lastly, you have to bid on an item in an auction. You don't need to win it, but at least bid on it. The easiest time to do so is after a new Skyblock year starts, as the prices will be relatively low. But don't worry about it yet, you will have some more modes later on, which makes it easier. In my playthrough, bidding on the auction was the last thing I did. The next area we look at is the Living Cave. Besides some progress, this area also offers one of the best moneymaking methods inside the Rift, but I'm getting ahead of myself. First up, you need to kill some Ordinals. Just like the Crux mobs, they also have a special phase while killing them. During the phase, you can't damage them, and you have to break the glass blocks so they spawn. If you use Scare Honey, you get a line towards the blocks. After they are broken, you can continue to hit the mob until it's down. To upgrade your sword to the pickaxe, use the first 12 nullified metal you get and some Berberis you grinded earlier. Furthermore, you will need another 14 nullified metal. While running around the cave and killing some of the mobs, you will also get to a cracked brick wall on the right side of the cave. As you learned earlier, shoot it with the Horsuka to get access to another Enigma Soul. Also on the left side of the cave, you find a flower pot. As per usual, click one pot after another. They will lead you to the area in the entry of the cave. Once you spawn in all of the pots, they say hi. If you say hi in chat, you will receive the Enigma Soul. Next, you need to grind out some living metal. For this, you need to break the lapis lazuli in the cave. If you break one block, the lapis will move to another adjacent block and you have a few seconds to break it. Try to get the combo to 50, as this will get you the most amount of living metal. There are 3 things you need living metal for. First, you need 160 to craft the time charm. Also, you need another 128 to craft the living metal anchor for Reed. And lastly, and most importantly, you need to upgrade your armor. But what do I mean by that? Currently, you can't enter the hole in the middle of the cave, as your armor isn't juiced. So you need to craft the helmet, chest, legs or boot spawns, and spawn or kill them. Doing so lets them drop an upgrade for the respective piece, which you need to right click. Every upgrade gets you some percentage on the armor, so you need multiple to get the armor to 100%. Their attacks are similar to the Ordinals, but a few things are special. Instead of glass blocks, they now spawn diamond blocks, which you need to destroy with a pickaxe, so you need to upgrade it first. Also, depending on the spawn, you need to stand in specific spots to break the blocks. For example, the cap spawn spawns the diamond blocks above your head, and you need to stand directly below them to break them. The particles indicate to you where you have to stand. When you're done killing the mob, really make sure to click the piece it spawned. The armor doesn't upgrade itself. Repeat this until all 4 pieces are at 100%. Also, right now only grind the living metal for the spawns, as grinding it in the lower area gets you double the amount. When your armor is at 100%, you can get down the hole in the middle to the lower part of the cave. At first, run towards this rock and right click it. If you do so, particles will appear on one of the snow blocks. If you break the block, another Montezuma soul appears. As the area is very bright, you can use a dark snow resource pack. I linked one in my Discord. Now it's time to grind frost cruxes. Hit them up until it enters its special phase. This time around, it covers itself in ice, and you have to break the ice with a pickaxe. If you don't manage to do so in time, the mob will explode and lose you a good amount of time. For now, you need 24 cruxes to upgrade the crux tally, and you need another 20 to craft the time charm. Afterwards, grind the missing amount of living metal. When you're done doing so, there's one more thing you need to do down here, which is grinding some frozen water. You need 2 stacks of these to craft that frozen water punji, and another 100 for later, so 228 in total. Whenever you're back in the tower, remember to place down the time charm in the gallery. As soon as you have the punji, you can do one of the most important things in Rift, which is grinding living metal snakes. These are the lapis and glass blocks moving around like snakes. Mining them is special, as they need to be stunned to be mined. You can stun a snake by right-clicking it with a punji. A lot of people think you need 2 players to mine them properly, but I'd say in 95% of cases it's even faster to do them solo. The snakes need to be mined from tail to head, so you start with the last block of it and work your way to the head. If you're unsure where to go next, just let go of the snake for a few blocks and see how it moves. The easiest way of doing it solo is to have the pickaxe and the punji in 2 slots you can hotkey easily to. For me it was pickaxe in 1 and punji in 3. Switch to the punji, right click it for a short period of time so you see the node particles, switch to the pickaxe and mine the block. The snake should be stunned for long enough so you can mine 1 block at a time. It might take a while to get used to it, but once you're into it, it's relatively easy. Your goal of mining the snakes is to get living metal hearts. On the one hand, they are used for Bluetooth rings, which are a very good money making method early on. But don't worry, we will get to Rift money making methods in the next video. On the other hand, they are also used for some progression items, and without including Bluetooth rings, you will need a total of 112. Use 15 hearts to upgrade your boots, and use another 9 together with some of the living metal you grinded earlier to craft a living metal anchor. With this, get back to Reed and give it to him. You also need another 88 hearts for later. Whenever you need more coins, for example for grand bottles to stay longer within the rift, grind some Bluetooth rings. While the area of the Colosseum is kinda small, you still need to spend some time here. The first thing you want to do is to go to the back side of it and kill the eye so you have a quick teleport to it. Afterwards, use the launch pad next to the Colosseum to get on top of it. Talk to Mole, he wants you to do a small parkour around the Colosseum. The blocks where you have to jump should be highlighted in green. Once you do a full circle, you can claim the Enigma Soul next to Mole. And now there's only one thing left to do, which you have to do multiple times, which is the Bacta fight. It's the second Rift mini-boss after the Supreme Leech, and as before, I will go through every phase of the fight and explain it to you, so you know what you have to do. Also don't wonder, if some of the footage looks different, I have to re-record a few things, as I lost some of the footage of my playthrough. To start the fight, jump down into the Colosseum. Bacta is the static slime in the middle. As you might notice, you can't hit it directly. To start off the first phase, you need to hit the small slimes twice, and especially the second hit has to be in the direction of Bacta, as the slime is sliding over the ground. Remember this mechanic? You will need it throughout the whole fight. If you miss a shot, the slime will respawn, so don't worry. Once you hit all of the slimes, Bacta will be big and spawn in new slimes and a tentacle. You need to hit the tentacle with 4 slimes in total. When a tentacle is out of HP, it will always spawn a blob assist. These have 275 HP and run around and try to hit you. You need to kill it to go on, but what a lot of people don't know for some reason, you can also shoot slimes on them. Hitting a cyst with a slime deals way more damage than hitting it with a weapon, so I would always try to do so. After the cyst is dead, Bacta starts to shrink. Once it's small, you can hit it with your weapon until it's at 800 HP. Afterwards, it teleports in the middle and increases in size again, which means you can't hit it anymore. The second phase starts by spawning in spikes. You will get indicators on the floor showing you where these will appear. Dodge them, as getting hit by them takes off quite some time. After a while, 2 more killable tentacles will appear. As before, you need to shoot them with the small slimes. Also as before, cysts will spawn when the tentacles have no HP left. You need to kill them as well. Afterwards, Bacta will shrink again, so you can hit it with your weapon. When it has 600 HP, the third phase starts. This one starts by spawning borders in the arena, and you have to be in the correct part of it. If you are in the correct one, it says Save Slice on your screen. Repeat this for a while, and the intensity of the phase increases, which means on top of the slices, you also get the spikes spawning in after a few seconds. Avoid them as well. Something you can do while waiting for the phases to be over is to hit all of the small slimes once, so they are prepared for when you need them. After another 30 seconds of surviving the phase, the killable tentacles spawn in again. Shoot them with the slimes, and kill the cysts afterwards. Yet again, when you do so, Bacta will shrink and you can hit it with your weapon until it has 400 HP left. In the following phase, the intensity will rise again, as you now also have to dodge the slime copter. These are rotating slime blades you need to dodge by jumping over them. After a few seconds of them rotating in one direction, they change their direction and increase the speed. If you get hit by a blade, you lose some time, as per usual in the Rift. Once you're used to it, you can already use the time to prepare the slimes for later. After a few iterations of the copter increasing speed, it slows down by a lot, and the other phases are added as well. So on top of dodging the slime copter, you also need to dodge the spikes on the ground, as well as being on the correct side of the border. After another 30 seconds or so, 4 more tentacles spawn in, which you can hit with the slimes again. As per usual, cysts are spawning in after a tentacle is down, and Bacta shrinks when all cysts are dead. After you hit it down to 200 HP, the last phase starts, in which the whole floor turns into slime blocks and you bounce up high in the air. Also as before, the other phases are added in as well. 5 more killable tentacles will spawn and connect with Bacta, but this time around you don't need to hit them with the slimes, but shoot them with a blaster. It's easiest to shoot on top of Bacta, as all tentacles connect there. After all tentacles are down, Bacta shrinks the final time, and you can hit it for its last 200 HP. For finishing the boss, you get rewarded 8 Bacta fragments. Doing nearly the whole fight solo took about 10 minutes. If you have mates to do it with, it's going way faster, if they know what they are doing. As for right now, you need to do the fight 3 times. You're going to need 4 fragments to upgrade your legs. Next, you're going to need another 8 fragments to craft the Global Time Charm. Once you craft it, go back to the gallery and place it there. And lastly, you need another 8 fragments to give them to Reed. The reward for giving him all of the items is the boat, which you need to progress further. With the boat, you now need to go back to the plaza, but make sure you reset your timer, as you will need some time now. If you go through the auction house and use the exit on the other side, you get to Phaser. He offers you to skip the parkour for a scammy price of 150k modes. You really shouldn't take that offer. In the parkour, you have a bunch of small islands with a laser hovering over them, similar to one of the phases of the Leech. It might take a few tries to get used to it, but after a while you should be able to reach the house at the end of the parkour. Before you go on, make sure to go inside the house and climb up the ladder, as the last Montezuma piece is hidden over here. Now you can click the NPC in front of the house to enter the Stillgore Château. The Chateau was the last area of the Rift for quite a while, but by now the Mountaintop has been released, so we have to make our way through another area after this. When entering the Chateau the way you just did, the Rift version of Maddox awaits you. He is giving you some lore about the area and requests you to craft the healing melon. But as for right now, we won't focus on that yet. The first thing you should do is to run over to the eye and unlock the teleport location for this area. As you might notice, the time you have left is kinda low, so right now we focus on getting more time. First, run over to the right side of the castle and shoot the balloon with a blowgun, just as you did in the past. As per usual, you get rewarded with an Enigma Soul. The next soul is very close to this one, as you need to get into the corner of the island and drop down the cliff. The soul is just standing there, so you can claim it without any task. Use your aspect of the leech to get back up the cliff. For the next soul, you need to get to the front of the castle. Here you find the flea spook. As before, follow it along. It will guide you through multiple parts of the castle. For some of the jumps, you will need your ATL, so always make sure you have enough mana. The flea spook will eventually lead you to the trees outside the castle. If you make it to the last tree, you get rewarded with an Enigma Soul inside the tree. Next, make your way up into the dining room and teleport on top of the wall. If you make it to this exact block, you can break the glass of the floating soul without using a lava silk. To be able to click the soul, jump towards it. Now it's time to grind out the cruxes of the area. You get them by getting outside of the castle and killing the splatters. As with all of the other crux mobs, they also have a special behavior when killing them. After hitting them a few times, you get an actual damage tick and only have 4 HP left instead of your usual 20. You regain the HP by collecting the hearts laying on the ground. Different from before, the mobs on the chateau reduce your HP when you get hit. Currently, picking up the hearts is your only way of healing, but later on, you get the healing melon to do this job. In case you die on the chateau, you're being teleported into the jail. After a few seconds, the iron bars open, and you need to kill the zombies to get out of the jail area. As for right now, you need a total of 64 splatter cruxes. You need to spend the first 32, together with 10k motes, inside the tower of the castle. While you're in the tower, gather on the balcony with the fairies. First, talk to the one in the front left, then front right, then second left, then second right, and finally the one in the middle. If you now click Yeet Fairy in the chat, you yeet it down and reveal an actual fairy soul. After you get another 32 splatter cruxes, you can use them to upgrade the crux tally. And lastly for now, it's time to get the hardest Enigma Soul yet. It's another flower pot soul, and you find the start of it to the left of the castle. This time around, you need to do a parkour to reach the last flower pot, but you can cheese it a little bit here and there. When you jump down the cliff, after the first 2 pots above the void, you can jump to the pillar and use it to get the pots. Also, when you have to maneuver around the pillar, you can always teleport back up to make it easier. Lastly, you just need to follow along the path before you can eventually claim the Enigma Soul. As you might have noticed, I said lastly, even though we are far from done on the chateau. This is because now it's time to prepare for the next steps. For this, you need to grind a bunch of things, which takes some time. So if you need more Grand XP bottles to stay in the rift, grind out some coins before you go on, for example with living snakes. I will list every resource you need, some of them are mandatory, some are nice to have, especially if you want to fully max out the rift. But we get to that in a moment. First, you want to grind out 90 of each Cruxes. This is because you need a bunch of Crux motions, 8 of them to upgrade an item later on, the other 82 to craft 41 blood badges. You can leave out splatter Cruxes for now and grind them on the side when doing Vampire Slayer. Furthermore, you will need 86 leech fragments and 98 Bacta fragments. 82 of each type of fragment are needed for the blood badges, the other leech fragments are needed because you need to get the second pickaxe, and the Bacta fragments are needed because you need another 16 to craft the gummy polar bear. You should still have 4 Bacta fragments from earlier, which means you need to do another 11 leeches and 12 Bacta fights. If you can, try to get other people to help you with it, but even solo it's possible to do it. Another thing you want to do before you go on with the chateau is get Wolf Slayer level 5. With the coins you can get from inside the rift, you can either buy a carry for this, or you grind out some stuff in the overworld to do so. Either way, you need it to be able to use the weird tuber. Also get yourself a Maddox bat phone inside the rift, you can craft it for cheap after Wolf Slayer 3. In case you also want to do tier 5 Vampire Slayer soon, you will need combat 25 for this. After you get all of this, before going back to the chateau, get back to Enigma at the Wizard Tower and turn your already collected Enigma souls into stat buffs. By doing all of the Bactas and leeches, you should have enough modes to do so. Now it's time to progress through all of the Vampire Slayer. To start off with it, you need to kill a few thralls or vampires, as they drop vampiric melons. For now you need a total of 12, so you can craft the healing melon. Using this item refills some HP, so with this you are able to do slayers. After you craft it, go back to Maddox, as you now have access to the Vampire Slayer. Before we fully go into the Slayer, I have to explain to you another mechanic of the game. There are 6 so-called effigies throughout the chateau, and you need to destroy them from time to time. For every destroyed effigy, you get a buff of 2 rift damage while it's destroyed, so a total of 12 damage. If you use Scare Honey, you get waypoints towards them and a timer when they are about to respawn. Start the Slayer quest and kill some mobs to spawn in the boss. I would suggest barely using the splatters, as they steal HP in the fight, and it's safer to do it with thralls or vampires. But you still need some kills in the Crux tally, so kill them too if you feel like it. When the boss spawns, you need to hit it a few times with your weapon. After a few hits, it's getting in the mania phase, in which you can't hit it. During this phase, the ground below you changes into red, green and black blocks. Stand on the green blocks when the red blocks turn to black blocks, otherwise you receive quite some damage. Whenever you drop some HP, use the melon to refill. Besides that, tier 1 is very easy and you should have no issue killing it. Whenever a boss is down, you need to get back to Maddox and hand in the quest and start a new one. To begin with, do 2 tier 1s. After those 2, you are Slayer level 1. Click in the chat to claim the rewards, as you now unlock some recipes you will need. The first thing to craft now is the Holy Ice, as you need it for the higher tiered bosses. For this you need 100 frozen water and 16 Coven seals. If you did everything earlier, you should already have the frozen water, and usually you should get enough seals from 2 tier 1s. In case you get unlucky and don't get enough, just do another tier 1. After this you will need another 12 Coven seals, so you can upgrade your pickaxe to the Karambit. Just do some more tier 1s for this, as doing tier 2 without the sword is very rough. Now onto the tier 2, besides it having more HP, a lot seems similar to the tier 1. But starting with this tier, you need to get used to using the Holy Ice. After a few seconds into the fight, the boss will start using his Twin Claws ability. It's also getting announced with sound, so after a few times you used it, you should be into it. Before the claws hit you, you want to switch to the Holy Ice and use it, as it reduces incoming damage by 80% for 1.5 seconds, so you can easily survive such a hit. Relatively soon afterwards, the boss will get into its mania phase again. This is just as for the tier 1. As you receive a damage take of 1 HP every second, you need to heal from time to time using the melon. After the mania phase, it teleports and uses another Twin Claw. And now another thing gets added into the boss, the Clockgoyles or werewolves. They attack you and every attack steals some of your HP. You get back the HP when killing them. Try to kill them relatively close together, as they leave skulls on the floor. After a few more seconds of the fight, the boss will fly up in the air and you hear a ticking sound and see waves of blocks on the floor. The blocks follow you around, so now you want to stand on top of the skulls. After about 2 seconds, the target is locked in, which you can notice with the appearing blink sound. When the target is locked, get out of the wave, as there's going to be a lot of damage at that spot afterwards. Any skulls targeted by this attack will be destroyed. If a skull survives, the corresponding werewolf will respawn shortly after. Now you only need to hit the boss until it's dead. Always keep in mind the twin claws. Level 1 took you 25 XP to get. After another 55 Slayer XP, you are Vampire Slayer level 2. After you claim it by clicking in the chat, you unlock a bunch of new recipes. The first thing we're getting at this point is the next helmet upgrade by combining the old one with 32 Coven Seals. You probably won't have enough Coven Seals for everything you need, so continue doing tier 2s to get them. You can try out tier 3s, but personally I continued with tier 2s to guarantee tier 3s in the long run. The next item is a very important one for Vampire Slayer, the Stake. To craft it, you're going to need 3 Barbarous Bunches and 18 Coven Seals. You already might have noticed the overlay saying stake when the boss is low. If you hit it with a stake below the threshold, you finish it off with a single hit. Next you want to upgrade the Bat Phone. This saves you from running to Maddox all the time, as you can just right click it to open the menu. With the next 24 seals, it's time to upgrade the Healing Melon to the Juicy Healing Melon. This allows you to heal 9 HP instead of 7 for the same amount of mana. And with these items you can start a tier 3 Vampire and should be able to finish it successfully. The start of the tier 3 is the same as the tier 2. You need to hit it and it starts to shoot the Twin Claws. As soon as the boss enters the mania phase, there's something new happening, as you now need to fulfill small tasks while also fighting the boss. These can be to click up or down, sneak or jump. If you don't do the task within 2.5 seconds, you get some damage. The second main phase is the same as for the tier 2, the werewolves spawn in and you need to kill them and remove their skulls with the explosion. Something else that's new is the boss has a second mania phase, which is just like the first one. As there's a second mania phase, there's also a third main phase. This starts off with a new group of werewolves spawning in, focus on them first. But besides the wolves, there's also a spring spawning, which has to be your next focus point. After spawning, you have 15 seconds to destroy it, which you can do by alternate left and right click. If you don't manage to get rid of it in time, you will instantly die. After the spring, you just need to finish the fight. If you're fast enough, you can kill the boss before it flies in the air to shoot the explosion for the skulls. In my case, this got me to Vampire Slayer level 3, which unlocks even more recipes. The most important item from level 3 is the upgrade of the stake, which you need 8 Trax Motions for. If you kill a mob with it, you receive 1.5 times the common XP on the next mob. So instead of spawning in the boss with your main weapon, you should use the stake from now on. During the boss, keep using your sword. The next thing you should upgrade is your leggings, which you need 1 blood badge for. You're also going to need leggings of the pack, which you hopefully brought in already, and 24 living metal hearts, which you should have farmed earlier. After you crafted the legs, make sure to left click them, so you can set the color to black. The player base agreed on using black as the main color, and as you get more stats if someone else wears the same color, you should also set it to black. At this point I decided to try out a tier 4 boss, as I wasn't sure if I'm able to do it yet. The boss starts off as per usual, you need to hit it, and it starts to shoot Twin Claws. The mania phase is also similar to before, so you need to stand on the green blocks, do the task appearing on your screen, and heal from time to time with the melon. But the tier 4 boss also shoots Twin Claws during the mania phase now. Just block the damage with the Holy Eyes or dodge the claws entirely. Another change of the tier 4 is, you need to do the tasks outside of the mania phase as well, so the whole fight gets more stressful and you can fail more things. Kill the werewolves, use the explosion to get rid of the skulls, and keep hitting the boss. After a few more hits, the boss should go into the second mania phase, which is the same as the first one. After this, it's the same as tier 3, so you need to kill another set of werewolves and get rid of the spring, but you also need to do the task on the screen. Keep hitting the boss, and when it's low enough, use a stake to finish it off. Now you need to repeat this a few more times, so you eventually reach Slayer level 4. The next item to craft is the upgrade of the Karambit, so you get more damage, more speed, and more mana regeneration. You can also upgrade your melon again, so you don't need to heal as often, which helps with managing mana, as well as getting the weirder tuber, which costs another blood badge. The next item to upgrade is the helmet, which you need another 2 blood badges and 1 scarf studies for. By the way, if you need more inventory space or some modes, you can go to the moat grabber in front of the castle and sell some items. Especially for vampiric melons, it's better to craft them to higher versions before you sell them, as you get more modes for it. If you're Iron Man, you might want to keep some of the items. For a normal profile, you can sell about everything at the moment. After another 6 blood badges, it's time to craft the vampiric time charm. For this you're going to need another 3 barbarous bunches, which you should have prepared from earlier. Whenever you're in the tower again, head over to the Rift Gallery and place it. And finally, the last thing regarding Vampire Slayer I talk about is the upgrade of the chestplate. You can upgrade the orange chestplate with another 64 living metal hearts, 24 barbarous bunches, and 12 blood badges. If you followed this guide, you should already have the hearts and barbarous, so upgrading shouldn't be an issue. A few more words regarding Vampire Slayer before we go on. First, I didn't talk about tier 5 at all. This is because I need combat 25 for it, and I don't have that on the art. Whenever I'm doing the dedicated Slayer video, I will also include tier 5. Also, sooner or later, you want to come back to Vampire Slayer, as you need 5 McRubber burgers for Skyblock XP and more modes in the Rift. But don't worry about that too much yet, later on it gets a bit easier anyways. Lastly, I did not talk about the Vampire Dentist Relic and the Jelly, as getting them for the playthrough isn't necessary, but when you're going for the burgers, you should at least get the Jelly. Also, it's always good to have some spare blood badges, as you might get some vampire parts while grinding out the burgers, so you can craft the relic and get it outside of the Rift. And now it's finally time for the last area of the Rift, the Mountaintop. To get to it, you need to go back to the Plaza and run up the stairs. The first thing you should look out for is Ubik von Neumann and the Switch game. If you talk to him, he explains the game to you. Long story short, what you need to do is to select one box, then he selects a box, and you need to decide if you want to stick with your decision or if you want to switch to the other box. Always switch, because the chance of being correct is higher. Don't ask me for the maths behind this, I can only tell you how it is. If you are correct, you get an IQ point as reward, which is another accessory. You can upgrade 9 IQ points to a tier 2 version, so you're going to need 18 in total. 1 upgraded for inside and 1 upgraded for outside the Rift. Be aware, you can only do one minigame once after joining the Rift, so you're going to rejoin multiple times. Just try to remember, whenever you go inside the Rift, do the minigame. After your answer was correct, you can claim another Enigma Soul. Next, talk to the Old Timer. And this is an NPC in the cave leading up to Ubik. He explains to you how the time gun and timer works. We get to that in just a moment. Next, talk to the pickaxe next to the timer. After the dialogue, you can buy an anti-sentient pickaxe for 25k motes. You're going to need this to mine Termite, which is exactly what you should do now. You get Termite by breaking the blue glass panes in the cave. In case it's too competed, switch the lobby and try again in another. You need to enter the Rift multiple times anyways. For now, you're going to need 84 Termite, 32 of which to craft the time gun. On top of the Termite, you also need the Berberus blowgun for it. This is why you should grind 2 earlier. The other 32 are used to upgrade the pickaxe to an Iron pickaxe, which also allows you to grind Youngite. The last 20 are used to buy an item later on. To get Youngite, you need to use the time gun on Termite. If you do so, the light blue glass panes will turn dark blue, which means now you get Youngite when you break it. In total, you also need 84 of these, 64 to upgrade the pickaxe once more to get the Chrono pickaxe. The other 20 are also used for an item later on. Lastly, if you use the time gun on Youngite, it will turn to Obsolite, so the blue panes turn to purple panes. If you now break it, you receive Obsolite, and you need a total of 20 of these. Now it's time to progress through some of the other tasks on the mountaintop. First, if you leave the cave through the upper exit, you pass by a vending machine. Here you can buy a gravity potion for 1k motes, which increases the spawn rate of puffs. Puffs are this area's mobs to gain Cruxes, which you're going to need some of. After you buy the potion, head all the way to the top of the mountain. On your way up there, you pass by the eye of this area. Kill it for another teleport location. Ignore everything else on the way and make it all the way up to the roof of the house. Over here, you want to run and jump from one side to the other, as this is the best way to spawn in puffs. After you spawn in about 10 to 15 puffs, shoot one of them with your other blowgun until it's dead. This puff will initiate a chain reaction, which kills all of the other puffs being close enough, and the more puffs that are in a chain, the more Cruxes you get, up to a combo of 10. Repeat this procedure until you have 2 stacks of puff Cruxes to upgrade your accessory one final time. After this, you're going to need one more stack of puff Cruxes for a little bit later. When you're done grinding puffs, jump down the mountain to the direction of the Wizard Tower. You will land in front of another version of Ubik von Neumann. At this time around, you need to play Split or Steal. At first you need to play against the 3 NPCs standing next to him. I don't know if it's the best strategy for those, but you can just steal all the way. It doesn't really matter, besides the NPC furthest to the right, at this one you always want to steal. After finishing the 3 NPCs, you need to play against Ubik himself. I've been told it's best to always copy his last move, so I start off with a split, he responds with a split, so I split again, and so on. For me, the first game ended with everyone using split every time, but I don't know if that's always the case. For the second game you have to play against him, start off with a split again, and he should use steal. Now you want to copy him again, so you use steal, and he responds with a split, so you split again, and so on. Repeat this until the game is done. If you did everything correctly, you should receive a Ubik's Cube as a reward. With this, you can click on NPCs to start another game of Split or Steal. You should always use this on the NPC to the most right, as you can always steal in their games. Using the cube has a cooldown of 2 hours, and you always get like 30 to 40k motes from him. Lastly, claim the Enigma Soul next to Ubik. On your way back up, talk to Icarus. He starts a dialogue which you need to follow along. He's going to ask you how many squats he should be doing. Just always select the highest number possible. After the 3rd time, he's gone, and you can claim the Enigma Soul next to him. Next to Icarus, down the cliff, you're going to have another balloon soul. Take out your blowgun and shoot all of the balloons to claim the Enigma Soul that's being revealed. Now, next to the upper exit of the cave, there is another Ubik Venumen we skipped so far. Especially early on, a lot of people didn't understand how it works, but let me explain. Ubik asks you to enter a number, so he does with all of the other players. If you add together every number each player submitted and divide it by the number of players, you get the average number of all entries. Now the trick is, your number needs to be half that average, which means if enough players enter a lower number, the average also moves down. So you need to do a prediction game of getting the correct number. If you're correct, you receive a free will and you can claim the Enigma Soul next to him. If your guess isn't correct 5 times, you can also claim the Enigma Soul. At this point, it's time for the hardest Enigma Soul in my opinion. Next to the eye, you find another flower pot, which means at the end of the line, another soul is waiting. This time, you need to do another parkour, which is the hardest one of the whole rift if you ask me. After some attempts, the footage in the background happened, where I skipped some of the parts by using the aspect of the leech. Usually, you want to wait for the platforms to do the circles and arrive next to you, which makes it way easier. Make sure you click on every pot with the green particles, otherwise you won't be able to finish the parkour. Also, you need to be relatively fast, because after a while the pots despawn, and you have to start all over again. Try to get used to the range of the AOTL and make proper use of it during the parkour. In the end, there's one very hard jump. If you manage to hit it, you can claim the Enigma Soul on the small island. At this point, it's time to get back to the first thing you see when entering the mountaintop, which is Oruro the Time Chamber. In there, you need to duel Sangekko, but the way the fight works is different from normal combat within the rift. When you join the fight, your first hits will only deal 1 damage. Hitting Sangekko increases a counter, and your combo increases by 1 after 10 hits. Every time your combo increases, you deal 1 additional damage per hit. If you don't hit it for a bit, you lose your combo and you need to regain it. In the base version of the fight, Sangekko has 250 HP, so it takes a moment to kill it. Every time you want to fight it, you need to pay 5k motes. That's why we're only going for it now, as we have a good source of motes using the Ubik's Cube. After you successfully beat Sangekko for the first time, you get 50 experience and 5 Sangekko Essence. On the left side of the menu, you have the Sangekko Essence shop, in which you can spend Essence for perks or items. On the right side, you have the modifier tab. The more experience you get, the more modifiers you can select. Nearly every modifier gets you a small buff, but an even greater nerf. In return, you gain an additional 50 experience and 5 essence per activated modifier. I thought about going through every modifier with you, but in the end, you won't use every besides the last one anyways. If the last modifier is activated, you can't heal any damage you get, which makes the whole fight way harder. You can try it if you want to. If you're successful with it, you get a Hypixel achievement, so it's very optional. The most important thing to buy from the shop right now is the Enigma Soul, but keep going until you have every upgrade of the Blessing of Time and the aspect of the Leech upgrade. All of these rewards combined cost you 205 Sangekko Essence, so it's not too bad. With the upgrade of the aspect of the Leech, it's now time to tackle this area's Fleaspook Soul. For this you need to go up the mountain next to the vending machine. Over there you find the Fleaspook, which wants you to follow. Doing so isn't easy, as the distance between the platforms is rather large, but you can cheese a little. Behind the corner, where the Fleaspook starts, there's a small ledge you can get onto. Wait until your mana is filled and teleport all the way to the platform. From here you need to follow the planned path, so you need to teleport yourself on the moving platforms and follow them all the way to the Fleaspook. You can now try to follow the intended path, but even if you fall down, don't worry, you can cheese this one as well. Get to the roof of the house and you can teleport over to the Fleaspook. For the last part, you need to follow the parkour again, so try your best and good luck. As long as you are within the same lobby, you can just use the shortcut with the roof again. If you switch lobbies, the Fleaspook resets and you need to do it all over again. For your efforts, you get rewarded another Enigma Soul. From here, you need to jump down to the platform below you, where you get another soul for free. At this point, there are only 2 more things to do before the finale starts. First, we're talking about the Eleanor quest. For this, you need some coins beforehand, which you can grind using one of the Rift money strats, for example Living Metal Hearts. I can't give you exact prices, as they change regularly, but I can give you the estimation of 60 to 70 mil coins. With the coins, you want to buy or craft the following: a full set of Croppy armor, a legendary mushroom cow pet, and the base tier hoe. Sponge armor, an ammonite pet, a splash potion, for example a wisp potion, and a normal fishing rod. Normal gold armor, and a legendary ocelot pet. A full set of heat armor, a legendary armadillo, and the cheapest drill you can buy. A legendary wolf pet, a raider's axe, and one of the Kudra armor sets. It doesn't matter which one, as long as all pieces are from the same type. Personally, I used Fervor. The level of the pets don't matter. Also don't worry, you don't need the requirement for the items. After you gather everything, make your way inside the mountaintop and talk to all of the Eleanors. All of them show you the reflection of a player doing a certain task, while wearing certain armors. All of them you need to say it's you by clicking on the message in chat. And now we go through all of the tasks you need to do in the overworld. First, go to the barn. Wear the Croppy armor and select the mushroom cow pet and hold the hoe in your hand. Now you need to go to this spot and type "Eleanor is the best" in chat. If you do everything properly, you will get an extra message in chat. For the next task, get into the Dwarven Mines and go to the small cave at the edge of the mines. Equip the sponge armor and select the Ammonite as pet. Now you need to look up, throw the potion, throw the rod into the water and wait until the potion lands. If you've done everything correctly, you should get the same message as before. Doing the next task is even easier. For this you need to get into the jungle area of the park. Equip the golden armor and select the Ocelot pet. Now go towards the second plate of the park race. As soon as you enter the area, you should get the message in chat. In case it didn't work, you might need to get the golden axe and break some of the logs here. For the fourth task, you need to get into the deep caverns, rather said into the emerald area. Wear the heat armor and equip the armadillo. Hold up the drill and sneak twice. When you do, you should get the familiar message. And lastly, you need to get into the spider's den. Equip the Kudra armor set and the wolf pet and hold up the raider's axe. With this, get into the spider cave and simply do /hub. This should get you the message a final time. When you're done with all of this, you can either keep the items for future grinds or sell them for coins, as you don't need them anymore for the rift. Now head back into the mountaintop and talk to all of the Eleanors again. Starting from top to bottom, the foraging Eleanor gives you the legs of the Eleanor armor set. If you drop down to Eleanor 10, you can acquire Shen's Ringalia. For this you're going to need the items you grinded earlier, so 20 Timite, Youngite and Opsalite, as well as 64 Puff Cracks, the Disinfector Gloves from your equipment menu, and 25k motes. The farming Eleanor rewards you with the helmet of her armor, the fishing one gets you the chestplate. And finally, you get the boots of the armor from the mining Eleanor. Now that you have the full set, you won't need the armor anymore within the rift, so feel free to get it out using Sirius, as it's needed in the museum. There is one more thing to do before the grand finale starts, and for this you need to talk to Detective Amok again. After talking to him on top of the mountain, he awaits you in Romero's house. He's telling you a murder is about to happen, which might sound familiar. Anyways, after you're done in the house, you need to go to the florist. Talk to Marcia before you need to go to the master tactician thing. As you probably guessed, you find him behind the Colosseum. Talk to him and talk to Amok right after. This time around, you don't need to go to the blacksmith, but rather straight up to Taylor into the basement. Talk to Joliet and wait until the dialogue is over. Then talk to Amok once more. In the next step, you need to go to Romero's house again. Here you need to build a barricade using the items laying on the floor. At this point, you might know in which direction we're going. Once it's built, get into the corner and wait for the great plot to unveil. You see how the barricade gets destroyed and another version of you enters the house. This time you need to kill that version instead of Romero. After a final dialogue, you get the Ring of Eternal Love from Joliet. Now it's time for the grand finale of the Mountaintop. For this you need to get to the top of the mountain in front of the house. Talk to the Argafay door holder and he will tell you can only pass if you have the Supreme Time Charm. As you followed this guide, of course you have it. If you ever played Pokemon, the next part might remind you of it, as it's like the Victory Road, where you have to own every badge to continue. When you enter a door, you get to an area which reminds you of the West Village. Take out your Warding Diamathyme and follow along the particles to activate the glyph. When you do so, the Rooster Zilla will spawn and ask you for the Chicken and Egg Time Charm. The next area is a reminder of the Mirrorverse. Look at the mirror to find out where you need to go. Again, confirm you got the Time Charm. After the next door, you are in Barry's basement. You only need to make it to the other side. Avoid the temporal pillars, talk to Norway and tell him you have the Citizen Time Charm. In the next part, take out your Punji and mine one of the living snakes. Doing so reveals the Ordinal, which asks you for the living Time Charm. Now there's a reunion with Bacter. Just as in the fight, shoot the slimes into him. Confirm at the Blobber Cyst you have the Globular Time Charm. Lastly, there's an area which reminds you of the chateau. Here you need to activate 2 effigies, just like in the real chateau. You can't teleport, so use the ladders and platforms to make your way there. After getting both effigies, talk to Spike at the door to also pass this one. Now in this area, first take out your horse Zuka and go to the right. Here you find a breakable wall, behind which you find another Enigma Soul. Now get back to the door and talk to Obo. He asks you for Shen's Ringalia, that's why we have to get it earlier. In the room, you find a puzzle game, for which you need to turn on every lamp. Click on the button on the right. The first one is very easy, as you only need to go from left to right. But don't worry, I will tell you every combination you need. Every time you are correct with the puzzle, a new Shen will appear. They tell you a bit about the lore, but I'm not going through that in this video. For the second puzzle, you only need to press buttons 2, 4 and 6. The third puzzle is done by clicking the buttons 2, 5, 6 and 7. After you're done with puzzle number 3, talk to Shen and you receive the Celestial Time Charm. In case you want to go on, let me quickly tell you the last 2 combinations. Puzzle 4 can be solved with 3, 4, 7, and puzzle 5 can be solved with 3, 5, 6 and 7. If you finish puzzle 5, you get rewarded a golden bullet, but you don't need it to progress. Anyways, with the Celestial Time Charm in your bag, step outside Shen's room and talk to the Eleanor standing next to the other door. As you just got the Time Charm, you can pass. Whenever you re-enter the rift, remember to place down the Time Charm in the gallery. In the room, press the button, which says you need to say help Wizardman in chat. Surprise, surprise, the final boss of the rift is Wizardman. Talk to him and he tells you about some lore. After quick dialogue, you can select one of 3 tasks. Let's go from left to right. You start off with a parkour in which you need to be faster than Wizardman. Sometimes it happens, so he is faster than you, sometimes he's slower, so give it a few tries. If you're faster than him, you receive an ugly boots fragment for that. In total, you will need 4 of those, so you need to beat him 4 times in the race. When you have all fragments, you can upgrade your boots the final time to the ugly boots. The next game we talk about is the Wizard Brawl. You and Wizardman fly around in an arena and shoot projectiles. Both of you have the same amount of HP, and your goal is to reduce his HP faster than he does with yours. For this, you need to anticipate his movement, so he can't evade your shots. After every one fight, you get a W logo fragment from him. Same as before, you need a total of 4 fragments, so repeat this game until you have them. With 4 fragments, you can upgrade the chestplate the final time to the W logo. The last game you need to play is nothing else than Connect 4. In case you aren't a genius in Connect 4, you can find a link in the description which helps you out with it. Set red to manual and yellow to auto. On the website, you copy the move Wizardman does, and in-game you copy the move the site replies with. Every time you win a game, you get a tight pants fragment. Again, you're going to need 4 of these to upgrade your legs to the Wizardman legs. After you upgraded every armor piece, talk to Wizardman again and he gives you his face. Afterwards, you get a bunch of extra lore before you eventually get ported outside the house. You can combine the wizard face with your old helmet, so you can wear both at the same time. At this point, there's one more thing to do, which is talk to Amok a final time. After a short dialogue, this time you need to kill him. If you do so, he drops his wallet and it's finally over. And now there's only one final thing to do, which is to get to the peak of the mountain with more than 35 minutes left on the timer. If you go up there, you will be teleported back to the overworld where the wizard awaits you. He will talk to you a final time before you're done with the rift. And this finishes my rift guide. It was a lot of work, so if you haven't done so already, subscribe to the channel so I can release more guides like this. It took me so long because a few things happened in the past, which kinda threw me off guard. But I hope to be back, so the next video shouldn't take this long. In the next one, we talk about rift money making methods, so stay tuned for that. And now have fun grinding, and I'll see you in the next one.